Hello, my beautiful fashionistas. You're welcome again to Yvonne Winifred UG. Today we are making a laptop bag with a flap. I think you're seeing the flap. That is the flap on top. And it is a simple one. If you want something easy and simple for your laptop, for your MacBook, like for your electronics, or just a simple bag, let us watch this. So starting off, this is the fabric that we are going to be using, and I've already cut everything. That's all we need, and I've gone ahead to iron some interfacing onto it. I'm using stiff paper as the interfacing. You can use sponge, you can use any other interfacing at your disposal, and the laptop will look like that inside the bag, or the bag will be that shape that you've seen. So supposing this is your laptop, guys, please, you have to make sure that it will fit. So measure it, your length, your width, and the depth, guys. If you don't add the depth, the laptop won't be able to fit into your bag. So this is what I measured. I measured the length plus the depth, the length and the depth. The depth is what you're seeing on this side, like it's like about 1 inch, less or more 1 inch. This is the depth. Other side there, and this side, and the other side, and the other side. In most cases it is always the same, just the depth of the laptop or whatever you are making. So after that, I also measured the width still plus the depth. If you don't add the depth, guys, the laptop won't fit. So after getting those measurements, please add some ease allowance of about half an inch or 1 inch, just so that you have enough space for your laptop. And also add the sewing allowances. So that is all that I have here. So altogether I have about close to 29 inches by about 17 inches thereabout. So let us see what we are going to shape out of this fabric that we have. So guys, remember I've told you this is all we need. So with this, I have another piece of fabric. This is it, and I'm going to cut out the lining from this piece. So I'll just duplicate this main piece of the bag, any side, anywhere, as long as I get enough, and then cut it out to form our lining. So after the cutting, this is what we have. It needs to be ironed, but later on, let me first show you this. So guys, I'm going to choose one of the shortest side of this paper, or like, why am I calling it paper? One of the shortest side, and on that side, on top at the side here, I'm marking 2 inches along the length and along the width, and then I'm forming kind of a triangle. So whatever I form this side, I'm going to repeat it to the other side. So mark 2 inches first along the width, then along the length also mark 2 inches. Then draw a diagonal line like this to form kind of a triangle, and that will be cut off later on. So in this, we are making a flap. So I want our flap to be about 4.5 inches after all the sewing. Yes, after all the sewing. So we will have for now we have about 5 inches, because we need half an inch at the top for sewing, like the seam allowance for turning this part of the bag. So on top here, this flap will come like this to cover and form our bag. That is all that we need. So when you're cutting this piece, you have to know that you have to add 4.5 inches or 5 inches just for the flap. So I'm cutting off these sides that I told you, so that gives us a formed flap shape. So now I'm going to repeat that cutting that we've done onto the lining also. So let me first align everything together. And at the top here, remember we cut along the one of the short sides. So I'm going to cut that, and after that, this is what we have. So I've gone ahead to pin my lining together with the main fabric or the main piece of the bag, because I want to take it to the sewing machine and sew everything. So I've pinned all around, as you see, and I'm going to as I'm sewing, I'll be leaving about 3 or 4 inches. Then I'll sew along the rest of the bag. Remember, we leave 3 or 4 inches to help us as an opening, to help us to turn the bag to the right side. So after this is what we have. I've finished sewing, guys. This is what I have now in the opening, I think you're seeing. And wherever we have a corner, a pointed like part, we're going to cut small notches so that we relax that pointed part, so that when we flip it to the right side, it will relax very well. Like it will form the shape and be relaxed. That is what I should say, maybe. So if every corner, every like curve, every like shaped angle, I'm cutting small notches, and I'm also going to cut away some of the excess sewing allowance. Wherever you see that the allowance is still too big, cut it off. So after all that, this is what I have. This is our piece now, and remember, it is still on the wrong side, so we have to flip it onto the right side, turn it to the right side, and this is what I'm doing right now. Whatever interfacing you use, sometimes it is kind of a task, like when you're turning it, but it is possible and doable. So make sure you push out the corners so that the shape is formed very well, and also you make sure along the sides, like everything is out neatly and the shape is formed perfectly. So sometimes I use a pin to push out those corners, those pointed corners, so that my shape is formed very well. And now this is it at the right side, as you're seeing. And so far I'm loving what I see, but at this point it is wrinkled. We need to take it back to the ironing table and iron it so that the sides or the shape is formed very neatly. And that is what we have so far. And guys, also I'm just going to close up the opening. I'm just going to run a top stitch all around the bag, just all around the bag. Or if you want, you can just top stitch only at this lower part only, if that's what you want, according to how we are sewing in this video. And remember, we have at the top 4.5 inches for the flap, so I'm measuring 4.5 inches from the top, from the straight part, not the where we cut. Please measure from the straight part, then fold in the fabric of the bag like this up to where the 4.5 inches stopped from the top. Remember, we measure the 4.5 inches from the top, then fold in just as I've done, and we will just sew along, just a top stitch, to connect the sides or to join the sides, and then the flap will come down like this and the bag is formed, guys. As simple as this. As simple as this. You can do such bags for business, as gifts, as anything. But before all that, I'm just going to take it back to the sewing machine and top stitch all along. And also, because at this point I have not top stitched yet, and after all that, this is what I have. So nice, so beautiful. This is after the top stitching to close the opening. Remember, 4.5 inches from the top. And now at this point, I'm just going to pin everything together. Make sure you pin. Pins should be one of your closest friends as a seamstress or as a fashion designer, as somebody who sews. pins should be your best friend. So I'm pinning so that I take it to the sewing machine and sew quickly and easily and perfectly. So after pinning, by the way guys, before even all the joining of the sides, after you pin down your bag, please make sure you measure and see that you have the correct measurements. Then you join the sides just from where the flap stops. So here I'm making sure that I will, after sewing, I'll still have the exact measurement that I want for this bag, so that the laptop can fit in, also so that the bag can be enough in case you're just making it for anything else. So guys, that is all we needed. The laptop can now fit in, and this is it. After all this sewing, the bag is so ready. The sides are joined just as you see. I just top stitched close to the first line. Don't stitch too much inside. You stitch about a 1/4 inch when you're joining the sides, or also when you're like top stitching, so that you don't reduce on the size of the bag, so that your laptop can fit into the bag. And also remember to add ease allowances. Ease allowances will save you a lot, just in case you've made a mistake. The ease allowance will help you, will save your day. So guys, this is the bag. If you want to add any fasteners, you can use velcro tape. You can also use like these buttons, the metallic snap buttons. Like, it is so simple. So you carry it like this and you go for your lecture, you go to your office, you put it in your suitcase maybe when you're traveling. Like, your laptop is safe like this. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you.